When I talk about this particular chemistry teacher, uh, let me give you a brief about her. She was very knowledgeable. She was the one who taught me something very important about chemistry. That is, अगर स्कूल में आप केमिस्ट्री प्रैक्टिकल के टाइम पे टेस्ट ट्यूब फोड़ देते हो तो यू आर नॉट इन ट्रबल. या दिस हैपेंड. I broke my first test tube the first day of my chemistry practical and मेरी फट गई. And everyone was looking at me, and the normal usual school behavior that happened, where everyone was like, oh क्या कर दिया तूने. But then she came and she just told me it's okay, ये होता रहता है, pick another test tube. And just like the way I am,
The Funny Podcast, Bizarre and Real, Season 3. This podcast is brought to you in association with the Level Up Creators Program by Spotify India and Ideabrews Studio.
hey guys, welcome to the Funny Podcast Season 3, Episode 3. So in the last two episodes, we were talking about my school life, and I had told you that in the previous episode that we had a chemistry teacher, and yeah, well, we had chemistry. So that particular episode, I had also mentioned that there's another episode that I want to talk about, which is about how we coped with our chemistry teacher leaving us. And the answer to that is today's episode, because I'm taking it further. I'm taking it a little ahead and talking about my chemistry teacher once again, but a new chemistry teacher. Honestly, I've had quite a few chemistry teachers over the last, I can't say last, it's been a while. So yeah, over a span of 5-6 years. So when I talk about this particular chemistry teacher, let me give you a brief about her. She was very knowledgeable. She was the one who taught me something very important about chemistry. That is, अगर स्कूल में आप केमिस्ट्री प्रैक्टिकल के टाइम पे टेस्ट ट्यूब फोड़ देते हो तो यू आर नॉट इन ट्रबल. या दिस हैपेंड. I broke my first test tube the first day of my chemistry practical and मेरी फट गई. And everyone was looking at me, and the normal usual school behavior that happened, where everyone was like, oh क्या कर दिया तूने. But then she came and she just told me it's okay, ये होता रहता है, pick another test tube. And just like the way I am, I did that. But this time I knew one thing, that I'm not going to be in trouble. So उस एक दिन में मैंने 7 टेस्ट ट्यूब तोड़े. And since she had given me the green flag that yes, go ahead, it's okay, accidents happen, she couldn't even go back on it and say ki you are cut off from test tubes. But then she did cut me off, because she did not say, see, there's so much legal technicalities, how words are played, that after after the 7 test tubes, she was like, I know you can break test tubes, but zinc is a very expensive metal, so maybe you're done. So this teacher, in terms of practical, she was very nice, but whenever I talk about her, I don't know, I don't remember her name, because I think when it comes to chemistry teachers, they all have a very generic name, like Geeta, Sangeeta kind of. So it's one of the two or something. So this teacher, she was very knowledgeable, as I said. She helped me out during practicals. She's very soft spoken, very polite. तो उनके साथ हुआ ये कि प्रैक्टिकल में तो हमने मज़े कर लिए, बट देन क्लासरूम, मतलब प्रैक्टिकल इतने थोड़ी होते हैं. लाइक नो स्कूल इज गोना गिव यू equal amount of practical and theory classes. I mean, that's something even Karan Johar hasn't shown in his big budgeted school movies. So that's not happening. We used to have more theory classes, and our former chemistry teacher had gone, so we were barely in the mood to study. That's not true. If you remember from the last episode, we were in a topper section, so everyone was in the mood of studying. It's just that, yes, we missed her. We never wanted her to leave. So, with that pain in our heart, we still went ahead. We were dedicated. And when I say we, everyone but me. So, we kept on doing that. We kept on putting our foot forward in it and um, attending classes. And since it was school, it wasn't like we had an option to bunk as frequently as possible. So, hota yahi hai. She came, she introduced herself, and the first day she started teaching us. It was going well. She was writing something on the blackboard. We were copying down our notes. And while all of this happened, I realized one thing. Everyone in this classroom, they seemed dedicated, but they were not enjoying it. There was no enjoyment in it. So वो दर्द जो था, it was taking a toll. People were making notes. People were listening to, hearing her out, but not listening. Active listening नहीं थी उसमें. तो जब क्लास में इतने शार्प लोग हैं, like these geniuses in my classes, they used to never cope up properly. They used to never catch up with what was being taught by this new teacher. मैं कौन ही होता हूँ यार. So the first day she was teaching, okay, I felt bored. It wasn't her fault because she was teaching perfectly, but it was my fault that I was that stupid. So I got bored very easily. And I realized it later that, I am bored with this particular person because it was supposed to be like it happened in such a way that you wouldn't even realize it. मुझे बोलना पड़ा, मतलब लोगों को मुझे बोलना पड़ा कि this is what has happened. You were bored. And now you must be thinking, why would people tell me that I am bored in this situation? That's because they had to wake me up. So I knew I was drowsy, I was bored, but slowly and gradually I had fallen asleep. So this happened in the first class and I fell asleep. She looked at me, the chemistry teacher, asked my benchmate that usko uthao. So he did. एंड हमारे में ना ये कोई इज्जत से उठाने वाली बात नहीं होती. अगर टीचर ने बोल दिया उठाओ तो यू थिंक कि हाँ हल्का सा दे विल नज यू ऑन योर शोल्डर एंड दे विल वेक यू अप. नहीं, माय बेंचमेट he took a pen like a knife and he stabbed me in the stomach. So obviously I got startled. मेरी फट गई. मैंने बीच क्लास में गाली भी दे दी. I woke up, looked, and in front of me, from her place near her desk only, her desk, she was looking at me. And I was embarrassed for two reasons now. One, I slept, and second, मैंने गाली दे दी उसके सामने. And because she was so, polite, she did not make a scene out of it. Not even out of my sleeping in class. So I thought, okay, I have to be more vigilant and careful, and I have to make sure that I don't sleep off. तो इतने में I started focusing again on what she was saying. But I guess 10 मिनट तो हो ही चुके होंगे मेरे सोए हुए, because क्या पढ़ा रही थी मुझे कुछ नहीं याद है. क्या समझा रही थी मुझे कुछ नहीं समझ में आ रहा था. I just stared at the blackboard and I slept again. Not in a subtle way with my eyes open. I did not zone out. I just slept. My head was hanging on my palm and I had slept off. Then the bell rang. I woke up. She did not address me. She must have seen me, but she did not address it. एंड शी जस्ट वेंट. तो हफ्ते में हर हफ्ते कम से कम 4 क्लासेस होती थी केमिस्ट्री की. दिस केप्ट ऑन हैपनिंग. लाइक ये होते ही गया. It was something that could not be avoided. Every class I was falling asleep. Like after a week and a half, she asked another classmate of mine कि ये हर पीरियड में ऐसे ही सो जाता है कि मेरे में. And that bastard did not even have the humility to say it on her face at least कि हाँ ये हर पीरियड में ऐसे सो जाता है. वो कमीने ने भी यही बोल दिया कि नहीं मैम सिर्फ आप ही के में स्पेशली ये सोता है. तो ऑब्वियस सी बात है भाई, वो औरत ऑफेंड होगी. एवरीवन हैज अ थ्रेशोल्ड लेवल और वो हो गई ऑफेंड. So she woke me up, she called me to the front. She's like, क्या हो गया? And now you're thinking कि I called this guy a bastard for ratting out on me. The reality is I am just as bad because मैंने भी यही बोल दिया कि मैम पता नहीं क्यों बट नींद आ जाती है. I could have been very subtle. I could have lied. I could have said n number of things, but this is what I said. इतना बेवकूफ़ हूँ मैं कि मैंने मुंह पे बोल दिया कि मैम पता नहीं क्यों बोर होकर नींद आ जाती है. She was like कि ऐसा नहीं चल सकता. You have to stay up. पढ़ो ना पढ़ो वो तुम्हारे ऊपर है बट नींद नहीं आ सकती. I said I'll try. And she was like okay ठीक है. And she asked me to just go back and sit down. And she continued to teach. और मैं फिर सो गया. This happened the entire year. She gave up on me. She did not complain. She did not rat me out to anyone. Principal वगैरह किसी को कुछ नहीं बोला गया. But she just gave up. She was like, she did not even care about checking my papers. It was that fucked up. तो पूरा 9th स्टैंडर्ड मेरा ऐसे ही गुजरा है. I knew, मतलब I felt like I was in kindergarten again because I was getting one period for nap every day. So that's all about today's episode. I'm not taking it longer because it's a Holi special and अगले 1-2 दिन तक तुम लोगों का मूड भी वैसा ही होगा. So you don't want to indulge more. So do let me know if there was any particular subject जिसके पीरियड में तुम लोग सो जाते थे या फिर नहीं जाते थे. That's all about today. Once again, I just want to give a shout out to another podcast. So what we have today, The Fauji Show. The Fauji Show by Simrit Sahota is a particular podcast that has been created by Simrit to talk about all these aspirants who every year sit down for the NDA, for the OTA exams, they prepare for SSBs, and this is an interview podcast in Hindi that talks about how people can work on themselves for the SSBs, can prepare themselves for NDA or the CDS exams or the AFCAT. Being a former aspirant for the armed forces, I would highly recommend this show to you. Do check it out. Once again, this is Aditya with the Funny Podcast Season 3, powered by Level Up Podcast Creator Program by Spotify and Ideabrews Studios. I'll see you again next week. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye-bye.